Today we're making capirotada, which is a traditional Mexican bread pudding that's served during Lent. This year I'm going to prepare it a little different than last year. We're going to start by slicing 2 large plantains, set them aside and slice 5 to 6 bolillos into half-inch pieces like these. If you can't find bolillos in your local grocery store, you can also use French bread or teleras. During Lent, many supermarkets now offer pre-cut toasted bread made especially for capirotada, which can save you lots of time. Butter each piece on both sides and toast it over medium heat until they're nice and crispy on both sides. In my previous recipe, I sprayed both sides with cooking spray and baked them in the oven at 375 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. You can also toast them in an air fryer. Remove each one once they're lightly toasted on both sides, and continue with the rest of the pieces until you're all done. Using the same pan, melt 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter. My plantains were a little bit on the green side, so I also added a little bit of sugar and honey. When making yours, make sure to pick plantains that are nice and ripe. You can also use regular bananas and just add them directly onto the capirotada. Those don't need to be fried. Once the plantains are lightly fried on both sides, remove them and set them aside. Add 4 cups of water to a medium saucepan and boil with 1 large stick of cinnamon and 4 whole cloves. At this point, you can also add 1 cone of piloncillo or 1 cup of brown sugar if you want it extra sweet. Boil over medium heat for about 10 minutes or until the water is well infused with the cinnamon. Then remove the cinnamon stick and the cloves. Using a small bowl or a measuring cup, add 3 cups of whole milk and dissolve 1 package of your favorite atole flavor. I'm using the walnut flavor. These come in a variety of flavors, but if you can't find these in your local grocery store, you can substitute it with 2 to 3 tablespoons of regular cornstarch. Mix until you no longer see lumps and set it aside. Add 1 12-ounce can of evaporated milk to the cinnamon water, 1 14-ounce can of condensed milk, and the milk with the cornstarch. Bring to a simmer over medium-high heat with constant movement to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. Once it reaches a light thickness like this, remove it from the burner and set it aside. Using a deep 8x11 baking dish, arrange 1 layer of the toasted bread. Before adding the toppings, add a few spoonfuls of the milk mixture over the bread, making sure each one is soaked with the milk mixture. Then add a handful of queso cotija. I like to use the queso cotija because it adds a sweet, salty flavor to the capirotada. Add a layer of the fried plantains, raisins, sweetened coconut flakes, and walnuts. You can also add, take away, or substitute any of the ingredients that I used. Repeat the process by adding a second layer of the bread, milk, and the toppings. Bake at 350 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. Top it off with sweetened coconut flakes, and my mom used to always add sprinkles, so I'm going to do that as well, because it does add a lot of color to the capirotada. And enjoy!